Against the Ropes podcast.
Contra las cuerdas. Against the Ropes podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. AtR podcast. Gio Garcia here. I'm alongside Christian Mosqueda, back for another episode. Huge weekend in boxing. Man, there's a lot to discuss, so let's jump right into it.
Yeah, like I said, you're a lot to dissect. Tszyu, Manny Pacquiao, Mario Barrios. Bro, where do you want to start with, Gio?
We'll go in chronological order. The first fight that we had there on Saturday was early for us here in the LA area. That was Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Dubois, heavyweight action, live from London, the rematch. First one was a little bit controversial. Second one, no doubt, Usyk does it again. I believe it was 5 rounds, Chris. This time, no doubt, Alexander Usyk to me remains number one pound for pound. Did his thing, and yeah, I mean, let us know what you guys think in the comment section. I think once again he did a great job. Not sure why Daniel Dubois didn't go down to the midsection. You know, he put Usyk in trouble there the first time that they fought. Probably should have done it more in this one, but no doubt Alexander Usyk, best heavyweight in the world, and got the job done. Once again, 24-0, 15 KOs. He's 38 years old, out there moving like he's in his 20s. 5 rounds it took him to stop Daniel Dubois there in London.
Yeah, Joe, let me just say this is one of the fights, I think, the fight outside of Pacquiao that most boxing fans were looking forward to. Again, this pitted the best heavyweight of this era against the emerging, the young, the youthful, the strong, the guy with the momentum in Daniel Dubois. And again, this one had a lot of history because of that midsection shot that a lot of people, including myself, saw Daniel Dubois winning. So there was a lot riding on this match. But what Alexander Usyk did in 5 rounds, Gio, it just puts him in the top 10 heavyweights of all time, Gio. And again, what an amazing showing for a 38-year-old. Again, I know that we're talking about old heads, and obviously Manny Pacquiao took that narrative this weekend. But man, Usyk at 37, 38 to do what he did, amazing.
Usyk, the GOAT of the generation. Just this generation, says Big Bro. Usyk good, says Iceman. Yeah, but yeah, I think I thought Triple D was gonna take him to deeper waters. Didn't do it in this round. I think Usyk established that dominance early on. But I don't know, man. We'll get into whether he quit or not. I saw him get up, kind of sat up, got up right after the 10 count and just walked to his corner. I don't know. Maybe he just in his head he knew he had no more left. Triple D. I feel like in the past he's been smart about that when he had his eye hurt. I believe it was against British guy heavyweight. Used to train with Abel Ramos, Joe Joyce. Um, I believe that was one of his defeats where um his eye socket was broken, and he did the smart thing. He didn't get up. He was able to come back, win a championship, and get these big fights. Uh, probably something that we'll get into it, right? But maybe something that Tszyu could have done in his career to prolong it. But that's kind of another. It was that left hook that made him quit, says Iceman. That's another topic, and I'm sure we'll discuss it later. But yeah, Usyk did his thing. We can't say we're surprised at this point. The only thing that kind of surprises me is that he's 38 and he's moving so well.
Yeah, for me, I think we picked him to win, and I mean, at least I'll speak for myself, Joe. I was surprised that he did it in 5 rounds. Again, I expected this one to go 7 and over. I think we predicted the distance, but obviously in the heavyweight, anything can happen. But again, just the way that he did it at Wembley, we saw him show Wembley a lot of love. We know that Usyk, another asset of his greatness is that he does this in everybody's backyards. But I don't think we expected him to do it in under 5 rounds. If you were to say Usyk is gonna come out in that many rounds, I'm like, I think it takes 7 or 8. But yeah, man, the fact that he did that, and again, somebody coming from the cruiserweight division and doing this to all the heavies, that speaks volumes.
All right, and yeah, I think that's all I have. I don't think there's too much to discuss here. Usyk once again remains top dog in the heavyweight division and probably in the pound for pound rankings as well. Just to me, because of the opponents that he's been beating and how he's been beating them, but um, that hook definitely made him quit, says Big Bro. All right. Anything else you want to add, Chris, before we move on to Bam Rodriguez and that card?
Well, let me ask you, Gio, after this performance, I know obviously you have to dig into the heavyweight names of the past, but where do you rank Usyk? I got into it with a couple fans. I kind of put Usyk top 5 pound for pound. Obviously, I have to make an argument for that. Obviously, there's a lot of greats that can kind of like usurp him in the top 5, but I made an argument for him for top 5 pound for pound. He has the same stats as Muhammad Ali, Gio, when it comes to reach, when it comes to height, when it comes to some of the accolades before turning pro. Obviously, Usyk is undefeated. Obviously, it's different eras, different fighters, but I'm gonna say he is top 5 for me, pound for pound. Again, one of the asterisks that Muhammad Ali has from some of the modern fans, some of the modern pundits is how would Ali have fared against these giants, these 6'7", 6'8" kind of guys, and Usyk just kind of gave you the blueprint. He showed you that at 6'2", 6'3", he could beat these guys. These are guys that he was never supposed to be in the ring with, yet he showed that his IQ, his stamina, his longevity is in a different level. So I got him in the top 5 pound for pound, Gio. Where do you have him?
Yeah, you mean heavyweights?
Yeah.
I agree with Big Bro. Stop trying to rate him while his career isn't done. It's illogical. Yeah, I think that's illogical. And another thing is, you said he wasn't supposed to be beating these guys. Strongly disagree with that too. I think there's this false narrative out there, people saying, "Oh, Usyk is a cruiserweight." Yeah, no, he's been heavyweight since what 2020, 2021. So he's been heavyweight for a while. Let's not pretend like he's not 6'3" or 6'2", whatever he is. He's a solid, 220, 230. So, yeah, people got to stop that narrative, too. He's bigger than guys like Mike Tyson physically and Muhammad Ali. So, yeah, I think people got to quit that and be real. But that's boxing. People, I think, read these narratives online and then just run away with them. But, yeah, let's just put those to rest. Yeah, I agree. I think we have to wait. If he gets knocked out next fight, then Chris's top 5 ever won't mean anything, right? So let's wait until he's done or gets a few more good wins under his belt. In my opinion, at least. I don't know. You're very excited, Chris. It seems like.
Again, I mean, this is obviously, I think, without a doubt, the greatest heavyweight of this era. I don't think there's any there's any argument to that, Gio. I think now, like he has a case for obviously the top 10. I think he makes a case for that. I'm just thinking of like, dude, does he reach the top fives? When I think of the top fives, of course, Ali's number one. Joe Louis is number two. After that, it's anybody's ball game. But obviously, the Lennox Lewis's, they have a case for that. The George Foreman's, Joe Frazier's. But man, just seeing what he's doing, and obviously, he only can beat the guys in front of him in this era. But these are the Giants, man. There wasn't Giants. There wasn't these 6'8" guys, 9 guys back in Ali's time. So yeah, man, I think he makes a case for himself. And obviously, of course, I agree with Big Bro. There's much to see in the latter end of his career, but this is in his prime. Things are a little different if he stays past his prime. But yeah, as for now, he makes a case in my opinion.
All right, all right. Hey, and don't forget about guys like Evander Holyfield too, who came up from cruiserweight and made history. So, yeah, I think prisoners of the moment, but he is an all-time great in my opinion at heavyweight. I'm not sure where I would rank him yet because I still think he has another fight or two that can define or continue to define his legacy, man. But great fighter Usyk, like I said, to me, he's number one pound for pound. And Iceman mentioned in the comments that he got 132 million. Yeah, that's what Google's saying right now.
Damn.
132 million. Dubois 71. The total purse was 203.5 million. Dang, these guys got paid, man. If I'm Dubois, yeah, I see why he's like, all right, big left hook, my mouthpiece just flew across the ring. Yeah, let me just take a seat, man, and call it a day.
Yeah, of course, obviously, Daniel Dubois wanted to walk out a champion in Wembley in front of his fans, but dude, getting paid 70 million to get knocked out, that's not a bad way to go out. That's not a bad way to go out. So again, obviously, great props to Dan Dubois because without him, without a dance partner, without somebody built in with a fan base like that at Wembley, you don't get those kinds of paydays. And I think Usyk knows that. Usyk obviously not a household name, only known by the boxing purists. So again, I see why Usyk showed a lot of love to Wembley to Dan Dubois. Again, you need a dancing partner in boxing to get those paydays.
Yeah, and let's go to some quick comments here. Man, that's a lot of money. Ali also fought way better competition, so stop it. None of these guys are on Foreman's level. Sounding like a C word, Chris, Big Bro says.
Okay, I was about to say, is that a Big Bro comment? Of course, bro. Come on, that's Ali. When you have a great like Ali, they're gonna rise to that level. And again, USA boxing was at a different level back in the 60s and the 70s. So yeah, definitely different eras. But I don't know if you give me, I know you don't like hypotheticals, but an Ali versus Usyk fantasy fight, I think it would be competitive.
All right, what else do we have here? What's next for Usyk? Kyle was asking.
Mm. It's looking like Joseph Parker, right, Gio? It looks like that's the one guy that also has a little bit of momentum, the way Daniel Dubois had momentum after that Joshua win. So Joseph Parker obviously known for getting that knockout in the second against your boy Bacole. I think he's the one that has makes the most sense. Like Usyk said, he wants to go rest, go on vacation. I think he deserves it. So after a few months, maybe we'll get Usyk rolling again. But let me ask you this question, Gio. Do you think Usyk retires undefeated? Yes or no?
I think that's very, very possible. Let me see right now. And I think his undefeated will actually mean something because we've seen guys in the past, retire undefeated, beating guys out of their prime, fighting MMA fighters, fighting guys who didn't belong in the ring with them, especially toward the end of their career. I think we all can think of one person, right? One specific person, but look at who Usyk is fighting. Look, he's 24-0 now, 15 KOs. He just fought a champion, right? At the end of the day, it was Usyk's belt. Let's keep it real. He never lost it, but we know what these weird sanctioning bodies be doing weird things. So that belt ended up in someone else's hands. That someone else was Dubois. And Dubois is a good name. Look, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua 2 times, Tyson Fury twice as well. You know, he's getting names there at the end of his career, even at 38 years old. So, yeah, I think it's very possible. Someone in the comments mentioned Caballel as a possible opponent, and if he's able to get victories like that at the tail end of his career, I think it's going to mean a lot, and I think it's very possible. Keep mentioning his age, but he still looks young. I think he still has a few uh, championship level fights in him.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Again, I feel like the only thing that can derail him down the line is father time. I think he, like you say, he looks exceptional. Great technique, great balance, great stamina, even now. So again, for a 38-year-old to do that to a 27, 28-year-old, that's crazy. Again, just shows how he takes care of his mind, his body. He stays disciplined in the ring. Again, he's once in a generation kind of fighter, Gio. So again, I know the Caballero Parkers are being thrown out there. I don't see these guys, even though they're very talented in their own right. Uh, there's only one Usyk. There's only one guy that's very field. So I see him retiring undefeated if he doesn't stay in the game too long.
Yeah, and they're gonna have to come up with a great game plan, man, a perfect game plan because
Yeah.
this he's great at what he does. He's great at distance. His defense is smooth. Offense is becoming great here in this heavyweight division. I think those were some of the doubts when he moved up from cruiserweight. Is he going to be able to take a punch? Will he be able to knock these guys out? And he's been hurting all these guys at heavyweight. So I think those questions have been answered. And yeah, we'll see what's next. But Big Bro, to go to some comments here, I'm very feel, says Iceman. Uh, I gotta get that soundbite, man, so we can add it. We got the AB one and we got the Payday. All right, I'll play those in a bit. But Big Bro says Usyk has the best resume of any guy under 25 fights. That's
I know. And I don't know who NM is, man. Flat out. On God, no. And I don't know who NM is, man.
That's on God and them. That's facts. What else do we have here? Um, Parker deserves the opportunity. Yeah, and Parker was in the ring at the end of the fight, and he congratulated Usyk in one of the videos that I saw. It had audio, and yeah, he said congrats, and he said, I'm here, and he said, hey, we can get some rest, and then we'll see. So it's a possibility. But yeah, last thoughts on this fight, Chris, before we move on to Pacheco against McCumby.
No, again, Usyk is far and away the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. And again, just to even be considered, near the likes of Muhammad Ali's, it just talks about his own greatness. So yeah, shout out to Usyk. Man, what a talent.
All right. So let's go ahead and move on. As I mentioned, we had some more action on Saturday. That was a very exciting day of boxing. We had Diego Pacheco defeating Trevor McCumby by decision, 24-0 now, 18 KOs for the 24-year-old out of South Central. He was fighting McCumby, who gave Caleb Plant a lot of trouble. That was his lone defeat. He's 28-2 now, 21 KOs, 32 years old. And yeah, back-to-back losses now. I think he was a little bit more prepared for this one versus that Plant one. I felt like he was controlling the fight, gassed out perhaps a little bit, and got stopped by Plant. Got a guy not known for his power, but in this one, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit disappointed. I think I expected a little more action. Both guys went out there and they were very careful. McCumby got that cut early on in the fight, accidental headbutt right over his forehead. That affected him a little bit, but I think both guys played it a little too safe. But at the end of the day, Pacheco did what he had to, and he got the W. He got his 24th professional win, and yeah, I think big fights are coming soon for Pacheco, who was supposed to fight Christian and Billy, but instead his team opted for this fight. And yeah, as I said, he did what he did.
Yeah, for me, I was a little disappointed in McCumby. I expected him as a veteran to make it a little bit dirty, a little bit messier. I didn't expect him to win, but again, this is where you test these young guys and you continue to make a name for yourself so you could get these callbacks. So I feel like he I don't know. I don't know if it was just not the motivation wasn't there. I don't know. Pacheco maybe just too young, too fresh, too talented, too rangy. But yeah, it was all Pacheco in my opinion. I was still a little disappointed in Pacheco. I felt like he could have done a little bit more, but like you said, he did play it safe. He just kind of cruised to a win in my opinion. So again, he was always expected to win. This is what you need to do. But guys like Diego Pacheco, blue chip guys, I kind of want to see a little bit more, man. Again, they're being touted as the next best thing in boxing. So I always those guys I always ask a little bit more. But again, you got the W. Nothing is derailed, but I expect more from Diego Pacheco.
Yeah, I don't have much else on that. Hopefully he gets a title fight soon. As I said, Christian and Billy is out there. Um, Berlanga, I'm sure he's still going to be around. Shiraz is going to be around. We mentioned that as a possible fight. The length, no Diddy, of Shiraz and Pacheco makes that matchup very, very interesting. So we'll see. We'll see. And I mean, yeah, that's what Big Bro says. He's not ready for him. Billy or Shiraz, says Big Bro. We'll see, man.
Yeah.
Decent test that he passed. And of course, he'll be waiting for those big fights and the big paydays. Where's my payday? Oh, it's not on here, huh? I'll look for it.
Yeah. And again, Diego Pacheco, he's part of that that Sebastian Fundora line. They're just these 6'4", 6'5" kind of fighters. Again, like they're rangy, they're tall, height, reach advantage, all these advantages. I want to see them, use them. I mean, just like this is what I asked of Shiraz for the Adames fight. He does it with Berlanga. These are those things where like that knockout could come. You just got to put these punches together. The strategy together. He didn't do it, but I want to see that down the line.
Yeah, and he's still young, 24 years old, so he has time. He has time, just like Jesse Bam Rodriguez. Moving on to that main event. This was in Texas, hometown state for Jesse Bam Rodriguez, another pound for pound talent. He's 25 years old, 22-0, 15 KOs now. He added another KO this time against Fumelela Cafu, who was undefeated from South Africa. Durable opponent. Went to 10 rounds, but at the end of the day, Jesse Bam Rodriguez was too much, man. Too much punishment. He got the job done. We didn't expect anything less, realistically.
Yeah, no, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is the guy that just you have high hopes, high expectations. You have him at a standard, and he just either meets it or exceeds it. Again, this is like his opponent was a very solid guy. Like you said, undefeated. Obviously came up the rough way. Nothing given to his opponent. Obviously, pretty sound defensively, pretty sound in terms of counter punching, but Bam just made him look average. Bam just made him seem like he was just another one. Again, that just speaks to the volume of the level that Bam's at. Even when you're watching his fights, those angles that he jumps in and that punishment that he's constantly on his opponent. It just, man, dude, it's amazing to see, honestly, like, what, 24, 25 years old? All the guys that he already has under his umbrella, under his resume. It's crazy, man. Dude, it's just a top pound for pound talent. I know some people have him as high as 5'6". I think deservedly so.
Yeah, I have him up there pretty high. Big Pro says Bam is the best under 25 fighter in the world. Must see TV. Shout out to my Maton checking in. For you guys all just checking in, we just got done discussing Diego Pacheco against Trevor McCumby, and Usyk versus Dubois. We still have the other fights to get to. But yeah, right now we're discussing Bam Rodriguez, pound for pound talent, got it done against Cafu. Stoppage in the 10th. They threw in the towel. They saw enough. His corner, Cafu's. And Bam adds another victory, adds another title. And yeah, man, he's flying high, 25 years old. He's up there on my pound for pound list, man. Like you said, 5'6". I think it's well deserved, man. He's got some names, some really good names on that resume, and it's gonna get exciting, man, in that weight division because Bam, he's a small guy, but I feel like he's a little bigger and stronger than a lot of these guys in those lower weight classes. So a fight with Junto Nakatani, I wouldn't disregard that, even though Nakatani and Inoue are possibly gonna get it on soon. But Yeah, I think Bam can go up in weight classes and challenge big names, but for now he's collecting belts, man. He's doing his thing.
Yeah, again, the way he was just smothering Cafu. I mean, Gio, like he was going straight at him, not letting him breathe. That's one of the most, it takes away your energy. It takes away, everything when someone just on you 24/7, doesn't let you work, doesn't let you breathe. And again, his punch selection is just exceptional. I feel like none of his shots are wasted. Those angles. I think Teddy Atlas said it reminded him of Loma. It reminds me of Pacquiao sometimes. It's just those angles where you're here 1 second, the next you're getting punched from this other side. And again, it's outstanding. Bam is like just firing on all cylinders again. I can't wait to see him move up. I think he has to move up carefully because again, the Nakatani and the Inoues, they're greats in their. I mean, at least Inoue, they're greats in their own way, and so they're very dangerous fighters. So I don't want to see Bam, become a Tszyu. So I think you got to bring him up carefully, even at 24, 25, so we could get some great matches. Maybe when he's 27, 28. So again, I do see those fights going down. I just would like the right timing for those fights for Bam.
Yeah, some people in the comment section here mentioning El Pumita. Hey, look, he already has an opponent. Here you have it, 18-0, 9 KOs. Fernando Daniel Martinez. That's going down in November. I believe that's the David Benavides card. Yeah. Yep. They had it scheduled already before this one.
El Pumas at the Argentino? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's great. It's gonna be a good fight. It's gonna be a good fight. Obviously, Puma only half of his fight have ended in knockout, so you got to give Bam the advantage. But you cannot overlook any of these guys. Again, these guys are gonna train their asses off. They're gonna see this as an opportunity to shock. One punch in boxing can change anything. So Bam needs to be on his A game, but not very many people will put money against Bam. That's for sure.
That's right. Let's go ahead and move on to, you can say the main event of the weekend, because of the name, the legendary name of Manny Pacquiao. I think in the, 7 years that we've been doing this podcast, Chris, we've only had a handful of Manny Pacquiao fights. I remember the Keith Thurman fights, the AB fights. And now this one, I think this one, I don't know if you guys would agree with me, but I feel like came out of nowhere. It started as rumors and then it became a reality. Manny Pacquiao. But obviously, before we get into the actual main event, let's give some love to the guys on the undercard because hey, it was a pretty good card. Mark Magsayo was on it. He got a W. Isaac Cruz had a late replacement. He won also by stoppage. David Picasso won a majority. Brandon Figueroa won a unanimous against Joet Gonzalez. These guys were scrapping. That was probably closer than what the judges had it, but those guys went at it. Always entertaining. Brandon Figueroa and Joet Gonzalez. And then, of course, Sebastian Fundora. Tim Tszyu, Chris. Are we surprised at this outcome, Fundora? 7 rounds it took, and Tim Tszyu didn't come out of his stool, man. Didn't come out of his corner. Just when it seemed like he was turning things around, he got caught early on in the fight. First round got dropped, and not sure he recovered all the way, but he was able to land some huge hooks on Fundora. But yeah, the 7th round, he called it quits. He didn't want any more, gave Fundora his props, and maybe the smart decision after all. Maybe he learned from that crazy cut in the first fight. I think that took a lot out of him. I don't know if you can go as far as to say he wasn't the same after that because he fought a monster like Murtazaliev after, but yeah, he looked like a shadow of himself. Tim Tszyu, he's only 30 years old. Tough loss. We picked him to win this fight. Couldn't get it done. As he said, Fundora was a better man that night, and he drops Tim Tszyu to his 3rd defeat, 25-3, 30 years old. Tim Tszyu. He was able to squeeze in a victory there against Joey Spencer in between the Murtasaliev fight and this fight. But man, tough one for for Tszyu.
Yeah, Gio, I want to say this is one of those fights where before the fight, you'd be surprised with this, and then after the fact, you're like, with everything that's been going on in his corner, with the decisions that's been made, with the matchmaking that's been done, like at the end of the day, you're not surprised. Again, like you said, Tszyu, fight after fight, the last three fights, he just loses more and more of himself. Again, this is one of those guys that he was the boogeyman at one time, in our opinion. At 154, he was royalty coming into boxing. He was the son of the legendary Kazuya Tszyu and making his own name and just running through everybody. And boom, one decision, one bad decision after another, man. And I feel like he just loses a little bit of himself each and every time these kinds of fights happen. You mentioned the first Fundora fight. We've had multiple coaches that we've interviewed that they said they would have stopped that fight. They would have collected that money, run it back. It's a no contest. Like these are coached like Joel Diaz. These are coached like Coach Roma. Like that is the coach's decision, and you keep your fighter from taking extra damage. And unfortunately, Team Zoo's their corner didn't, and it's just bad decision after bad. The Mortazalia fight definitely took so much out of him, in my opinion. And this one, I feel like if this was a Tim Tszyu before those fights, I think he wins this fight. I think he has better punch resistance. And he comes out with a W, but this is definitely, like you said, it's just a ghost of Tim Tszyu. And unfortunate to see, not surprising after seeing all the damage that Fundora was just dishing out. I'm going to quote Teddy Atlas. Teddy Atlas said, and I agree with him, after getting that title, Fundora just became a better fighter just because he's got that confidence. He's a champion now. He's got something to prove. And again, Mortazalia took a lot out of Tim Tszyu. So not shocking, a little surprised because we expected so much from Tim Tszyu.
Yeah, and Chris did a series of, or an interview. There's a series of videos up on our YouTube channel now that you guys can check out if you haven't already. With Mortazalia, he spoke with Coach Roma, his coach, about that Tim Tszyu fight, and other topics as well. Fundora, Virgil Ortiz. So go check those out if you haven't already. But yes, I agree with a lot of what you said, and also with what a lot of the chat is saying here. Let's go to some of those comments. Definitely should have stopped that fight. Timmy should press charges against his corner for letting him fight with that cut in the first fight, says Big Bro. Tim Tszyu was never that guy. Look, that poll was very close too. 47% had Tim Tszyu, 53 had Fundora before the fight. So we are included in those people who thought Tim Tszyu was going to win. Iceman says, told y'all Gio looked like Tim Tszyu was done. Yeah, after he took that first knockdown, I was like, man, this might be a long night, because that, obviously we can't feel the power that, Fundora possesses. We're not in Tim Tszyu's shoes, but yeah, he went down early on in the fight. Something that didn't really happen in that first one. It seemed like he was under control for most of the fight, Tim Tszyu. Tszyu's definitely done his Big Bro. Mortazalia took his soul. Let's see. Shows you how one decision by an ignorant corner can ruin a whole career, says Big Bro. Nerd says Tim Tszyu was never that guy. He was going to get done up the same by Virgil.
I agree, low key, yeah. I forgot that fight was gonna be made. I think I agree. Again, you even see it in Tim Tszyu's body language, his interviews. He's just been softened up. I don't know if it was a combination of everything. Obviously, getting married, everybody has their own opinions over that. But yeah, man. Again, this is not the dog that we remember, in Tim Tszyu when he first came to the States. And again, it's just boxing is a cruel sport, Gio. Again, we don't know what it feels like you said, to get, when I see Fundora, I see lanky, skinny arms. I feel like those wouldn't hurt, but man, again, it's just, he's been doing this for years and years. Again, the angles, the reach, the way you position himself, yeah, you can't take too many of those shots, Gio. Again, we're not in their shoes, so we don't know what it feels like. But yeah, Tim Tszyu's punch resistant, it just reminds me a lot of Miguel Burchell. after his certain, after his knockout. So again, it's not there. It's not there again. Tim Tszyu used to take those shots a lot better before Mortazaliev and before that first Fundora fight, and he's not taking them as crisp.
Yeah, and I mean he seemed somewhat positive. I saw a video that he posted Tim Tszyu after the fight. So
Yeah.
it seems like he's gonna continue to go at it. And for Fundora, big fights out there. Obviously Crawford now vacated one of the belts. Mortazaliev is there, man, as he's been saying. Where are these guys at? Where are these tough guys at? He's trying to fight them. He's trying to get into the ring with these guys. He wants all the smoke, and as of now, it doesn't seem like any of those guys are in a hurry to face Bakram Mortazaliev. And yeah, I mean that's the only place to go now, in my opinion. If you're Fundora, obviously you're hoping for an Errol Spence payday if Spence comes back. It seems like he was waiting for a payday with either Crawford or Spence. He got a Tim Tszyu fight. It went well for him.
We get that. But as boxing fans and the way these fights are sanctioned, you have to see Bakram sooner or later. Again, Coach Roma, who's Bakram's coach, has told us that Fundora is a very, very tricky fighter, and I think he's even trickier now that he's got 2 wins over Tim Tszyu. He's at an all-time high. He's the champion, the title holder. He's even better now based off that confidence. So like, it's a much trickier fight for Coach Roma and Bakram. I think people still favor Bakram just because of that explosive power. And we've seen what happens when it lands cleanly on Fundora. Fundora's been knocked out before, but I mean, it's a very close fight in my opinion still. So let me ask you, Gio, who do you favor in that fight percentage wise? If let's say Fundora and Bakram were to fight next week.
Hey man, I'm not picking anyone against Mortazaliev at 154 or probably even 160. I don't care who it is,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think Fundora is a tough assignment for anyone. Uh, the long arms, obviously, he's 6'5". Um, he makes weight comfortably. I believe he weighed in at 152 point something, point 0.6 or something like that. So he was well under the 154 limit during the weigh-in, so he's not struggling to make weight. Looks like he's going to stick around for a while. He doesn't gas out. He has power. He has a pretty good chin, even though he's been stopped before, but he has a pretty good chin. He took big hits from Tim Tszyu in this one and walked through them. So tough assignment, but Bakram maybe 60-40, 65-35, something like that. Bakram right now, I believe, is just in another level. And like Coach Roma said, well, he's 32 years old. This is his moment. He's in his prime, and he has all the momentum in the world. And they do a great job over there with Coach. And I truly believe he is the boogeyman of the division. I know we say that a lot. At 160, you hear that about Johnny Beck. In other weight classes, you hear it with other guys, but the title is fitting for Mortazaliev, and I like I said, I would not favor anyone over him at 154.
Again, we're gonna give Fundora props for a win's a win. Again, like you said, he took a lot of shots in this fight, but he dished out maybe to Zeus 2 shots. He dished out twice as many. So again, those shots kept coming. It was obviously too much for Tim Tszyu at this point. And so again, shout out to Fundora, great win. He remains champion. I think he gets better, like I mentioned, from this win, from being champion. Confidence is all-time high. I would like to see him fight Bakram. I don't know if that happens. I don't know if the man from Coachella Valley steps up, but I think it's a great fight for the fans. It's a tricky fight for both men, and I think the true champion at 154, outside of Boots Ennis, outside of Crawford, would be crowned if those 2 men get it on.
Let's go to an interesting comment here. Champy says he believes Jesus Ramos is the boogeyman. Maton says he got outboxed by Lubin. Man, I think Ramos won that fight, but it was closer than it had to. You remember breaking that one down, Chris? We were a little frustrated that Ramos kind of fell into Lubin's game plan eventually, and at the end of the day, you can't leave it up to the judges. But Ramos is a very good fighter there at 154. This is what ESPN has at 154. They have Crawford at number 1. I don't think he's coming back, so we can kind of scratch that one off. Virgil, they have him at 2. Fundora at 3. Murtazaliev at 4. Madrimov at 5. Tszyu at 6. This is probably a little old. Boachuk at 7th. Xander Sayas at 8th. Keith Thurman at 9. Wow. Jesus Ramos at 10. So look, this is stacked. And Big Bro mentioned, wouldn't be surprised if Fundora fights washed up Keith. But there are a lot of names there. Zayas is fighting this weekend too.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think background, Coach Roma, Fundora said they're keeping an eye on that Zayas fight. Again, I get it. They're looking at it from a business standpoint, and of course, boxing is a business, so we have to kind of be understanding to that. But I'm a fan of the game, and I understand the business side of it. But I'm like, hey, we're gonna give you a pass on the business side, but now come on, give us one for the fight fans. I mean, it's all about balance, man. It's all about balance. So I'll scratch your back, but you got to give one to the fight fans. So yeah, man. Again, it's an interesting. I like the Ramos one. If Murtazaliev is the boogeyman, then Ramos is the dark horse, in my opinion. Again, I was kind of shocked what he did to Joey Spencer when he came out. I was like, this guy's big. This guy's big for 154. He could probably easily make 160 and grow into 168. But at 154, he's a scary dude. I was disappointed with that Lubin fight. I think I predicted before the podcast for that fight. I was like, that's gonna be a highlight reel. Like I expected him to knock out Lubin, but like you said, he played into Lubin's game plan, or I don't know what happened in that fight. It should have been a highlight reel, in my opinion, for Ramos. So let's see how he bounces back. Again, the 154 division is stacked. It's alongside the lightweight division, it's probably the division with the most names. Historically, the welterweight division and the middleweight division are the ones with the most names, but we're blessed to have that 154, which is why I want to see movement, Gio. I want to see movement in this division. The Madrimals, the Boychuks, the Virgil Ortiz, the Murtazaliev, the Zayas, even though he's 22 years young, he wants his big fights. And so if you have the title, you have to fight, man.
Yeah, and Big Bro says, how they have Keith at 9? It's pathetic. But hey, ESPN always has terrible lists. So they have Crawford at 1 after he struggled with Madrimov. Fundora, who had most of the titles, they have him at 3. So yeah,
ESPN. Business, man. If you have a name, you see with Pacquiao, you have a name, they move you up a little bit, man. Crazy.
All right, but yeah, let's go ahead and go to some comments real quick. Let me change this screen and then we can move on. Boots without having a fight at 154 is ahead of Wash Keith, says Big Bro. They robbed Ramos and they kept him in the freezer ever since, says Nerd. Ramos overrated, says Big Bro. We need Ramos versus Fundora next, says Champy. Ramos didn't throw shit, says Maton.
Man, I think Ramos is an exciting fighter. I think he needs to fight like the 7 through 12s and establish his name a little bit more. Again, I feel like he's got blue chip he's got blue chip kind of like energy, but I feel like he's the type to choke under the bright lights. So yeah, again, I like to see him face the 7 through 12s, get some good knockouts, get some good wins, and then challenge the big dudes. But yeah, man, he's definitely the dark horse for me, in my opinion.
Let's see. I thought you were gonna call Ramos the Chucky or something of the division.
The Chucky.
What was it?
He's scary, man. Again, what he did to Joey Spencer, I was like, damn, that reminded me of, man, who's a big guy that beat like, oh yeah, like Munguia when Munguia did that to what's the fighter that beat Cotto? Or was it Ali? When
Saddam Ali.
Yeah, that it felt like that. They're just like two weight different. They're weight bullies, man. And I think Ramos is one of those weight bullies that can cause problems for some of these 154s.
Crawford skipping 2 weight classes running from Murtasaliev and Janibek, says I Sam. Preach, man. You tell him. Spitting facts out here. They haymakers.
Haymakers, man.
Let's get
Getting that money, man. Getting that money.
Let's see Fundora get his get back versus Brian Mendoza. Brian cleaned his whistle bad, says James. Don't forget about Brian Mendoza. I think he just lost to Bochuk, but he's still there, man. He's still a challenge at 154. All right. Zayas probably outboxes Fundora, says Big Bro.
Yeah, until he gets put against the ropes.
All right. That was some good Tszyu Fundora talk. Let's go ahead and move on to the main event of that evening. Of course, the legend Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios. Chris, give us your thoughts first on this fight. You know, on our poll, a lot of people were voting for Manny, probably the sentimental vote, but you know, at the end of the day, it goes to 12. Man, what am I looking at over here? I'm trying to pull up the screen for you guys. At the end of the day, it goes to the distance. Tell me what you thought of the decision. I posted a poll on our channel, and I think what the audience saw was loud and clear. But let me get your take on it first.
Yeah, Gio, this one's an interesting fight, bro. I feel like this one underperformed and then overperformed at the same time. Again, there's so many variables, like what kind of Manny you're gonna get, what kind of Barrios you're gonna get. You know, a lot of people kind of felt like, oh, we're gonna get a super old Manny, and we got some flashes of an old Manny, but some moments of like, okay, Manny still got it at 46. Like, you can't ask for too much. At the same time, Barrios, you got moments of his youth, and you're like, is this guy holding back, or is he really like not liking that punch that Manny's landing? So, I mean, my biggest takeaway from this one was it was just I'm happy, obviously, for the Filipino people. Anytime Manny Pacquiao fights, like it's a huge party for the Philippines, man. Crime goes down because nobody's out there committing crime. Everybody's glued to their TV sets. Families are coming together. They're watching the fight. So that's a big old plus. Again, it's nostalgia, but man, again, I want to say I'm not mad at the draw. I could see it go either way, though. But again, it's subjective, in my opinion. But what are your thoughts, Gio?
Yeah, I agree with the people here.
What they say?
All
what
right,
they say, bro.
Well, let's go to the poll first. That's what I'm gonna pull up, and then I'll go into the comments. So you guys go in on the comments. How did you see it? Poll posted 2 days ago. 834 votes. Pacquiao winning 70%. Barrios winning 14% and a draw 15%. I saw Manny Pacquiao winning. Mario Barrios won all 3 rounds, all the last 3 rounds on all 3 scorecards. One judge gave him the win, actually. Somehow, some way. One judge saw him winning. You see the scorecards here. 115, 113, and then 2 of the judges had a 114, 114. Majority draw. Mario Barrios keeps his belt. How is he a champion? I have no idea. We came out here last week. I said, you know, if you make a list of champions from best to worst, Mario Barrios is probably around the bottom of the list. Chris, I'm probably convinced after Saturday. I think he's way at the bottom of the list, Chris. I'm scratching my head as to how he's champion, how he kept his belt. Very, very limited Mario Barrios. I don't know, more physically or mentally. His corner was all up in his grill, trying to get him to wake up, trying to get him to stop touching Manny Pacquiao's gloves, stop showing respect. Manny Pacquiao looked pretty good for a 46-year-old. I was surprised. His last fight out against Ugas, I believe that was 2021. He didn't look very good. Didn't look like he had his legs under him. He mentioned the leg cramps in that fight, leading up to that fight as well in training camps. Look good in this one. Man, I strongly believe that Manny Pacquiao has the best footwork of all time, Chris. I am convinced watching him as a 46-year-old. You got to mention guys like Alexander Usyk. You got to mention guys like Bam Rodriguez. But Pacquiao, even at 46, was on another level. But I know that's not really saying much because, look, if you're Mario Barrios, you're 15, 16 years younger than your opponent. You should win. You should probably stop him. He didn't do that, but he finished off the fight strong enough to win all those rounds at the end. But yeah, I was impressed by Manny Pacquiao's 1, stamina, 2, his movement, and 3, his hand speed still there. And according to Mario Barrios, he can still crack. So they're probably gonna get it on it again. Another money grab. Let's go to the purse here. They're saying Manny's gonna make around 18 million, 17, 18 million. They're saying probably even more. So man, this is a safe bet if you're Manny Pacquiao. If you're 46 years old and want to make a quick milli, fight a guy like Mario Barrios. Looks good on paper. He has a belt. It's a safe bet. Honestly, it's a safe bet. So I can see him doing it again. I know I said a lot, but yeah, Mario Barrios is not very good, and Pacquiao, he still has a lot in that tank.
Yeah, no, like I said, a lot of people were waiting to see how was Manning going to look, and obviously when you think of aging stars, when you think of those guys, you think of the Sugar Ray Leonards in their last fights, you think of the Morales in their last fights. They just look super slow, super sluggish. It's done. When you think of Muhammad Ali's getting knocked out, you know that their stamina is gone. What made them special was left in their youth. I agree with you, Gio. There was a lot of flashes of Manny still looking good. There was also flashes of him looking old. Um, but that should have been a gimme for a young guy like Mario Barrios. And I think that's why people are really, kind of going hard on Mario Barrios, because you're supposed to win. You're supposed to beat this aging fighter. No matter how great they once were, they're not that person anymore. So as a young guy, you have that youthfulness, those tools to upset that. And like you said, Mario Barrios, if he had fought the entirety of the fight the way he fought the last 3 fights, he should have won an easy decision. But either he had too much respect, or maybe, like you said, that punch that we don't feel probably was hurting. And again, you don't want to get embarrassed by an aging legend. You get dropped by the aging legend, because those hits do hurt. It is Manny Pacquiao. He knows exactly how to land that straight left. He knows how to go, even though him aging, he knows how to land that muscle memory punch. So again, I get that, but you got the reflexes, you got the youth, you got the speed. Try to use them to your advantage. Again, when I think of aging legends, I think of the ones that did it somewhat right. I think of Bernard Hopkins. The way he outclassed younger fighters. So I get that, but man, again, Mario Barrios, I agree. And, even Paulie, the Magic Man Malignaggi, who is a huge Manny Pacquiao hater, he had Manny winning. So I kind of see this fight either as a draw or slightly favoring Manny Pacquiao. Again, this is a 46-year-old that should be super slow, no feet movement anymore. And he kind of he competed with Mario Barrios, and Mario did not seize the moment.
Yeah, a lot of the comments going in, and yeah, I agree with a lot of the stuff. Yeah, Mario Barrios was emailed the championship. He got elevated. So that's how he got that one. And he hasn't even won since. I think he has 2 draws now as a champion. So he also had a draw in his last fight, Mario Barrios. So, man, nothing impressive by Mario Barrios. And what are we looking at here? We're looking at the record for the oldest welterweight champion of boxing is by Manny Pacquiao, 40 years old. He could have beat that by 6 years. Man, what a story that would have been, man. If he just had a little bit left in the tank, man, that would have been a great story coming back after about 5 years inactive, 46 years old. That would have been something for his legacy, man. But unfortunately, I think it's just politics, man. I think they're gonna run it back or give Pacquiao another fight with someone else. Big Bro saying they're trying to make Mayweather Pacquiao 2. They were talking a lot about that, but
Yeah.
man, it's didn't Mario Barrios win the belt against Ugas? Let's check that. Ugas is another guy who I have no idea how he was champion. Super overrated. I know a lot of people disagree with that, but super overrated. Let's see.
Yeah, I would even say, Gio, it's crazy that Mario Bar is being limited. It was a blessing in disguise, because he got like the highest payday ever. Most 46-year-olds will never come back in the ring. They're good. They're retired. They got a little bit of money on the side. Like, they're good, man. It's not worth the risk. But somebody saw Mario Barrios and was like, he's limited enough for me to consider coming back. That's crazy. That's crazy, Pat.
Barrios Barrios won the interim belt, Chris, versus Ugas.
He got elevated. crazy. And I feel like I'm not as hard as Paulie. I don't think he's a terrible fighter. I just think that there's like he's busting an Adrian Broner where he's not hitting the second gear, the third gear, the fourth gear. Maybe they're not there, man. But I just when I see that first gear, like you said, those last 3 rounds, I'm like, dude, you couldn't do that for the first 9 rounds? Come on, man. Like, I don't know, man. I don't think he's a terrible fighter. I just think just like AB, he just doesn't let his hands he doesn't throw them enough.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what else do we have. Oh, right here on the screen you see our predictions. We'll get into it in a little bit, but we got in a good streak there. We got the Bam fight right, Pacheco, Pitbull Cruz. He had a late replacement, so that was kind of a given. Figueroa got a couple wrong. We both had Tszyu and Manny Pacquiao. Got Usyk, got well, I got Shiraz, the Stevenson. You guys see it there on your screens. I think we're tied now, Chris. 41-14. 41-14. You got a few more KOs than me. You're more of a slugger. I like to take my time,
Hey, man.
Shout out to Paulie. Shout out to Paulie.
I got power, man. That power is the last thing to go. Shout out Manny Pacquiao. Let's go. Yeah, but I gave up the streak, Gio. I was throwing too many haymakers, man. I was waiting too much with my heart. Yeah, again, the freaking Team Zoo let me down that one. I should have seen that coming. Like I should have seen that coming, but you always want the Tim Zoos of the world to come back. That's voting with the heart, man. As much as I like our boy from Fundora, he's from the Coachella Valley. I've interviewed him before. Great kid. Him alongside his sister, both champions. That's amazing, man. Great family. I agree with Gabriel. I think the Dash should be considered, for contender to, trainer of the year, man. Again, just because you're just training these two and not others, it shouldn't discredit you, man. But yeah, man. Again, I might vote for Fundora coming down the line, but I mean, it depends on the person, man. Mortazaliev, I don't think I'll pick him against Mortazaliev, but man, I gotta get back on streak, man. I gotta get back on streak.
Let's go to some comments real quickly. Pac looked his age and Barrios showed how ass he is, says Nerd. 147th division. Nerd. Who's number 3 now on the leaderboard? I'm not sure how they determine it because Champy just swooped in and got first place. If you guys see the little badges there.
Yeah, how does that work, man? Like the more you comment, you like jabs? Or the more people like your comment, you get like I don't know.
It's hilarious.
Big Bro's not getting on the score sheet. Big Bro's been landing some good power shots, man.
And I pinned Iceman's comment too. What's going on here? This might be rigged, Chris. This is boxing right here. This is boxing.
I know, man. You got politics going up in the chat, man.
Yeah. Where's Maton? Does he still want a wrench, Maton? Thanks for handling that curse word on there. Someone allowed it. I don't mind if you guys curse on here as long as you guys are not
let me
offending each other or whatnot. Go ahead.
Let me ask you, Gio, because I heard some rumors post this fight that Floyd Mayweather at 48 years old might want to go after Barrios next. What are your thoughts if somehow, some way that happens?
Bro, do it. Whoever wants to fight Barrios, you're gonna be a champion. All right, do it.
Again, I agree with you that if Manny had a little bit more in his stamina pocket, I think he walks out with the title. Again, at 46, you saw his body. He's got that dad bod. At 46, we know that he's not naturally not a welterweight. He's probably what 135, 140 in his prime. A lot of that is obviously like old people weight. Let's not lie. Let's keep it real. He looked Mikey S. Garcia in there. I think he had a little bit more stamina. He walks out with the title for sure. But if Floyd jumps on that, that's the ultimate hater move. We know that Floyd likes to, remind folks of the Canelo fights, how easy it was, of the Manny Pacquiao fights, how easy it was. If he jumps on this Mario Barrios, take my title, just pay me the money, train, I wouldn't be shocked. We'll see what happens.
All right, let's go to some comments real quickly. Leave your last comments here, guys. We'll be checking out in a little bit. We'll go over the boxing schedule coming up soon, and then we'll be signing out. Man, there's some Ugas debates. Come on, man. Nobody should be debating about Ugas. Come on, man. I'm not gonna say he's terrible, but
Yeah, I don't think Ugas was a bad fighter. I think he was good, but I feel like I had him like on that B status, and I was kind of surprised that Barrios beat him again. When I think of boxers, like the boxer style less, I feel like Ugas should have outboxed him, but this is boxing, man. You never know what you're gonna get, man.
all right. I'm trying to scroll up here, see if I missed any comments. Barrios was 16 years younger, says Maton. Insane. Insane, man. All right.
Mhm.
Last thoughts, Chris. I guess last thoughts on this whole weekend. Under 30 seconds. Quick summary.
Again, it was legendary. Again, just getting Usyk to retain his title in the fashion that he did. It just reminds us that we have a GOAT in our midst. At 38, he's got a few fights left in him, so we got to align side with Canelo. We just got to appreciate when we have these GOATs in front of us, man. And shout out to Manny, man. At 46, man, I I can barely get up now, man. 46. Like, shout out to the legend for doing it one more time competitively.
Yeah, and for me, footwork, man. Usyk, Bam, Pacquiao. Some of the greats at what they do, man. And yeah, heavyweight king for sure, Alexander Usyk. Um, look, that lower weight classes, they got some kings down there too with Bam, with Nakatani, and with Inoue. So don't sleep on them. And then Manny Pacquiao, I'm sure we'll see him again. It was good to see him. Good to see him not get hurt. As I said, it was a safe fight against Barrios. Barrios went out there and treated him like a sparring partner. He didn't
Yeah.
seem like he was trying to win this fight. You know, it seemed like he was even happy with the draw. If you guys see that famous picture now, look at him. He looks happy. Let me see. Am I pulling it up here? Look at that face. That does not look like a guy who was upset at the draw. Unfortunately for Manny, he doesn't win the belt, but man, he probably should have won this fight, and that would have been great for his legacy. But yeah, I think that's all we have, folks. Let's go quickly to what's coming up, and then we'll be signing out. We got some action. July 26th, Clarissa Shields. Same day, Xander Zayas will be fighting Tszyu. Carrington is on the undercard. Emiliano El General Vargas is also on there. So yeah, ESPN cards are usually they're trying to push now Xander, but usually they have a pretty good set of talent on the undercard. So that'll be on ESPN. Clarissa Shields will be on the zone. And yeah, I think we'll have to wait for some championship action later on in August and September. But yeah, that's what we have coming up next.
Yeah, for us, just it's been a great weekend. Again, just names like Usyk, like Manny Pacquiao, like the emerging and already astounding Bam Rodriguez. Yeah, man, that fight with Tszyu and Fundora. I mean, again, it's a great time for boxing. Again, big names, great weekend. Can't wait to see what's next, man. I want to see some movement at 154. I want to see some of those guys step it up. I want to see some of those lightweights have been quiet since New York. I want to see some movement, man. Again, it's there's a reason why we pay for these fights. There's a reason why we buy in to these storylines, man. Again, this is one of the greatest sports ever, and we're here to support it, man. Let's go.
Hey, before we get out of here, I want to do something fun real quick, all right? So I'm going to start it off because I see some names here. Jack Catterall says James that Eddie Hearn will probably get Jack a shot at Barrios. Name some guys who will beat Mario Barrios right now. I'm going to start it off, all right? I'm not even going to start with the highest rated guys, but I'm going to type it in right there. Connor Ben. You guys continue the trend while I go to Big Bro's comment. I'm putting Connor Ben for now. 147 or 140, wherever you think. I heard this is the last ESPN boxing broadcast as their contract is up. I believe so. They were saying July, August, and they are probably moving to the zone. Is it, Chris? I know they were working on some stuff. I don't know if anything has been made official, but yeah, I think it's might be a wrap for top rank on ESPN.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's the last one, unless they kind of put something together, for the next, year or 6 months. But I don't see that happening. So we'll see where we're moving to next when it comes to seeing our boxing fights. But yeah, man, crazy time for boxing. As for who beats Mario
Yeah,
Barrios right now, man, who beats Jesus? Anybody outside you know that top five for sure. But let me see who's somebody that's under the radar. What are they saying? What are they saying?
Shadisa Green. Who is that? I put Clarissa Shields.
Oh, it's like
All right, let's see what Big Bro says. Haney, Teo, Norman, Rocha, Blair the Flair,
Blair the Flair would have said that too.
Alicia Baumgartner.
That's Polly. Polly comes back.
Paulie Malignaggi.
Man, who else beats him?
Chris Algieri.
Everybody on that boxing podcast
Hey,
beats him.
my boy Arnold Barboza. If you want a belt, there's one at 147. There's one waiting for you at 147.
Damn, shots fired. Yeah, I think any of the guys at 140 in the top 20 that want to move up can take that belt.
Hey man, I can see PBC saying, "Hey Gervonta, you're gonna fight Mario Barrios next for another belt."
Again, crazy sauce. Tank Davis knocked them out. Crazy sauce. Oh yeah, Shakur can box to a decision easy, even if he's bigger. He won't get touched up. Yeah, man. Again, hey, I'm pretty sure they'll run it back because it makes sense business wise for Mario Barrios. You know, with Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao loses, 3 or 4 more pounds. Again, the edge, and if Floyd kind of swoops in, that's the ultimate hater move. But he takes the record of oldest welterweight champion. So yeah, man, we'll see what happens, man. But this is the greatest blessing and curse for Mario Barrios, man. To be good, but not too good. To not have that power that hurts these aging fighters.
And Big Bro says, I saw Paulie's actually considering a comeback. He says Rolly KOs him. Barrios will beat Rolly, says James. Ooh. Maybe we got it. Yeah, go ahead.
He should beat him, but I don't know. Rolly's is on a high, man. Once you beat the modern day poor man's Oscar de la Hoya, man, sure, you're riding on a high.
What's the guy he lost to? Where they stopped the fight in favor of Rolly?
Oh,
Oh,
the old guy,
yeah. Dang it. Forgot his name.
the old man. Everybody knows what he's talking about. The old man. That's crazy.
Josh Taylor, who's retiring because of an eye injury, says Big Bro. Shout
Shout
out to
out to
George.
Josh Taylor. What a career on
Uh-huh.
top. What do they call him? The something tornado?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I never heard that name until he retired. Not gonna lie. The
Hey,
nickname, I never heard it. But yeah, I got to watch him fight live last May over in England, in Leeds, England against Catterall. He kind of disappointed in that one. Catterall definitely took it, but yeah, he definitely
yeah.
got a good following out there, man.
I think his biggest moment was when he unified, right? And when he beat Regis Progrerius. That was like his shining moment.
Yeah, he defeated he was undisputed, right? At 140, he defeated Jose Carlos Ramirez. Um, yeah, Josh Taylor definitely had some good wins under him, man.
Yeah. Does he go down as Scotland's best fighter ever? I think so, right?
Probably. I don't know
Honestly,
anyone else from Scotland.
can't think of any.
No,
I think of any Scottish guys. So yeah,
fun
shout out
people,
to
man.
them, man.
Fun people. They know how to party. But yeah, hey, let's get out of here. Shout out to everybody, man, from Scotland, from England, from the East Coast. I know a lot of you guys are watching us from another time zone, so shout out to you guys. We appreciate it. Thanks for keeping that chat lit. Whoa, Big Bro's taking the first place spot now. Woo, came in at the end and did his thing. Look at that. Look at that. The crown. He was waiting for it. He was like Mario Barrios, waiting for the last 3 rounds.
For real, man. He busted Sugar Ray Leonard, man, stealing the round in the last 20 seconds. Ba 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 ba.
Hey,
Vámonos.
Manny did a lot of that too. Manny did a lot of that. He was smart.
Yeah.
Shout out to Manny,
Yeah,
man.
man.
If you're watching this
Yeah, what do you
replay.
think? Vámonos.
All right, mate.
Guys, vámonos. Shout out to the Aussies, man. Shout out to the Aussies, and the UK fans.
Yes, sir. I'm very feel. We were very feel this week.
Let's go, Usyk. Vámonos.
Hey, I'm around 147, man. Yeah, I should consider this.
You're 147?
I'm around 147. No disrespect, Mario. I know you're watching. But come on,
Buck to a decision.
let's keep it real. Let's keep
Back
it
to a payday at least.
payday. Let's go, mates.
Hola amigos, soy Juan Francisco Gallo Estrada. Quiero mandar un saludo para mis amigos de Contra las Cuerdas. Échenle muchas ganas, un abrazo, muchas bendiciones.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. You know what mine is? Let's box bitches. It's almost fight night.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you for the support. Keep doing your thing. You're doing a great job. So thank you and best wishes.
Huge shout out to Against the Ropes.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you guys for the interview, and hope to see you guys soon.
Against the Ropes, always doing the right thing.
Shout out to Against the Ropes, man. I appreciate you guys for having me, taking the time out y'all day.
Against the Ropes, #1.
Freddie Roach.
Thank you very much.